Hey everybody, it's Jared Meredith, and I'm very glad to be back with you once again. I want to open up today's reading out of the book of John, out of the 9th chapter, and we'll begin today's reading starting at the first verse in that chapter. I'll go ahead and begin reading, and it says, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh, when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore, and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were thine eyes opened? And he answered and said, A man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and received sight. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. They brought the Pharisees him that after aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes." This passage to me is inspiring and a constant reminder of Christ's compassion for our needs when it feels like it is impossible for any science, healing of anything natural to try and come and to help us. And above this, I want to focus in on verse 4. And it says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As I read this and come into this story, I want to remind the church and people that are working in ministry that we need to be working while it is day, for night shall come when we cannot work. And if I could expound on this for just a few minutes, I want to talk about a few moments and opportunities where we have an opportunity to serve the Lord more and greater than maybe we are today. When I think about while it is day, that is not just when it is daylight outside figuratively per se. It may have been in the scripture as we read here. But opportunities to do the work of God as we know it in the moment that we live in today are vast, and they are abundant, and they are all the time. But we have to know when that moment is, and know when the moment is before us, to step into what we know we are being called to do to help other people while it is day. Typically, we will get up and do a 9 to 5. We know that there are others that'll pull second, third shift. But for this example, let's talk about doing, a 9 to 5, 8 to 5 kind of shift. We know when that moment and opportunity comes that there's an expectation that we need to get up. We need to get cleaned up. We need to get our mind set on where we need to be going. We probably have somewhere we need to drive to get to a workplace. Chances are we already know the job that we should be doing. We have an occupation of what we should be doing. And we know the things that we'll be doing over the course of that day and the expectations that are on us about how that is a good job or a bad job when we do that work. So when I put it to you like this, think about it in that context. We as a church today should be working while it is day. So when we are in the house of the Lord and doing his work, that we are coming in before we ever do the first thing with the expectation like we do for our jobs when we are working hard to earn the pay that we do, to pay our bills and take care of things to keep the lights on. but in a spiritual sense, coming in with the mindset knowing what we are coming in to do, with the right mindset of knowing what it is that we are called to do, knowing that there are things that we should be doing, to know that as a result of doing those, we would have a good report from the things that we would do as a result of doing that. And I think it's so important for us to be reminded about that accountability of coming in the door with the right mindset and not just sitting back and hoping that someone else does the job for us in order to have a good time in the house of the Lord. Let us work while it is day so that we may see and reap the benefits of the goodness and the gifts of God in the midst of a service. But let us not wait upon the works of others to do this, but let us come in and do the work ourselves so that we may enjoy the fruits of our labor. I begin to think about this in the context of myself, and don't get me wrong, I love to sit back and sponge in a great message from evangelists and preachers and teachers, those that are knowledgeable in the Word. I love going to awesome concerts and hearing anointed artists and singers and people that have been anointed and truly called to sing and play. But there's moments when God is calling you, me, those of us that are in that moment, in ministry, in that service, in that very moment in time, to be an individual that will step up to do the work. That may be another hand raised in the air to let somebody see that you're giving worship to the Lord. That may be you rising to your feet when no one else is standing to do the work of worship before the Lord. That may be you being the one being louder than everybody else to give your thanks to the Lord, so someone else can hear you giving thanks and putting in the work before the Lord. I like to think about it like this. My hard work and integrity that I put into my job in IT, I take great pride in being the best at what I do. I measure myself against all of my peers, and I try to compete and be the best at what I do. But none of that matters if my heart's not in it. What good does it do to feel like you are the best if you cannot have your full heart in sincerity in what you do and love what you do? In the same thing in the house of the Lord. It is great to be the best and know that you're the best at what you do. And we have many gifts and talents in all of the churches that we have across this country. But what good does it do us to know that we are called and know that we are anointed and know that we are gifted until we come in with that sincerity and that mindset to know that the work is important and that we should love the work that we are doing, and we should show that we love that work by how much that we do that work on a regular basis. Let us work while it is day so that people may see the good work. You see, I find it peculiar that when they asked the one that received the sight, tell us about your experience. You see, he didn't hear about the words about, let us work while it is day. Let us go and do this work because this person needs it. He just received the work, the output of that work that had been done. There are people that don't know the struggle of whether or not you are making the decision to do what is right in the house of the Lord. They just need you to be doing the right work. Oftentimes there are people that are sitting right beside of us or right in front of us that need to hear a word. They need to hear a word of encouragement. They need to have somebody reaching out to them to ask them if they need prayer. They need a hug, or they need somebody to lead them to God in a deeper way. But yet we are timid about jumping in and doing the work because we're too busy with other works of the world, or we're too consumed by other things, or the work of God is not as important to us as other things are. And other folks are missing out on the benefits of the good works of God because we are missing out on the benefits of doing the works of God. Can I just give it to you like that? If we wait too long while the opportunity is presented, while it is ripe and prime for the picking to do the work of the Lord, when it is easy for us to stand up and do it, while the service is happening, while people are there, while you have a chance to shout while other people are shouting, if we miss those moments, the day will break and it will be dark again. And in other words, things may be more difficult to try and do it alone. Or it may be an out of season moment where you may try to do it when you feel like you want to make up for something that you hoped that you had done before. And it may not be the same opportunity that had been given to you at a previous time. That's why when we're given the moments that we have in the now, that we should be moving as quickly as we can in the now, to obey God, to reach out to other people, to do the best that we can with the gifts that we are given, to sing and praise and work the spiritual gifts with all of our might, without fear, and with full of love for the works of the Lord. As we do that, the Word teaches us signs, miracles, and wonders will follow them that step into that work. And as a result of that, people will be drawn in either by observing the works that are done or being affected by the works that are being done. In either way, both sides of that equation means whether you're the worker that's doing the work or the one that is blessed from the work that was done, or the one that is observing the work and is being convicted and drawn in by seeing the work that has happened by the worker or the workee, everybody wins in the situation. The only time that anybody loses is when the first people that should be doing that critical work of the gospel make the decision not to. Disobedience is a sinful situation. I find it not a coincidence that one of the most grave things happening today in the church is disobedience. No one is coming in and demanding that they not do it by force. No one is coming in and bribing people to not do it, so they're not being incentivized to not obey God. We're simply making a conscious choice to not do the work. And we are putting other things, our feelings or our emotions, over top of what could be a pleasurable and powerful experience in God to help us even move closer and more forward than we've ever been. We put other things above that and wonder why we're not seeing things move closer and more forward to a point where, it almost baffles me when we get to this place where we come to the Lord and we're praying and God, I really want to get closer to you. But the first question I even ask myself when I get to this place is, what are the works that I'm doing to help cultivate the gifts of God in my heart? What is it that I am stirring in my heart to drive a passion and want and desire to do more for the Lord? And chances are, if my desire's gone, then something else is afoot that I need to be praying about. And if my lack or not wanting to obey God overtakes my want to support others or to obey Him in something that I'm clearly called to do, then there's a serious problem that is brewing inside of my heart. I don't know who this is going to or who I'm talking to today, and it's completely normal to face these things. But what is not normal is to hear this, know that it is a problem in your life, and continue to brush it off to the side. I want to recommend that you continue to pray about this and let the Lord provoke you to good works. Let your heart return to God, that you can continue to know your first love, what it's all about in Christ Jesus, and the importance of coming in each and every service, each and every opportunity in your home, each and every opportunity in your workplace, wherever that you may be, when you're given the moment to exhort or encourage or show good works, to do that, not just because the moment's in front of you, but because we are called to do it. And it is a good thing, and it is the pleasure of God to see His children step out and obey Him even greater. And I can tell you this after many, many years of ministry and service to the Lord. Only in the moments that I chose to not step out are the moments I look back and regret where I had a lack of growth. Only in the moments where I did not do more than what I should have do I look back on it and say, man, I wish I would have said that last thing or sang that last song or went to that brother or sister. Some of the people I wish I could have got to, they're no longer here. And now I can only wonder or live in regret of hoping that they made it. But we don't have to live our whole life that way with the rest of those that we love that are still here today. Don't wait another moment to do the work of God, especially around those that you love. Whether they are that blind person that was in the scripture, or those that are around them that take notice and say, oh, weren't you the blind person? How were you healed? Whether they take notice of it or whether you're the one that is directly affected by it, let the good works of God come into your life. And if you are the one that God is calling to get the spit in the dirt and put it together and do something with it, well, pick it up and do it. God has called you to do it. It's time to get busy for the Lord. It's time to pick up the good works that He's called you to do. If He's given you the voice and He's given you the platform and He has provided the anointing and the authority and the comfort level to step out and do it, and the only reasons that you're holding yourself back are yourself, then it's time to put yourself under subjection and to let God take over. There are people that are truly in need today that need more of you than they need of you denying you. You need to put yourself underneath your feet and to stop denying the call of God in your life and let them see the greater part of you, the part of you that can do a work that can lead them to a greater hope in Jesus Christ. I hope this is a blessing to you. I am only here because of the work of God that someone else did. I am only here because of the work of God that other people cared enough about to do when they didn't have to, for a life and a heart that didn't deserve it. Are you willing, while it is day, while the moment is in front of you, while the service is in front of you, while the moment, the mission, and the opportunity is in front of you, to do the work that God has called you to do? I challenge you to do that, whether it's the next church service, the next house service, the next devotional, the next post you write, whatever it is that you got to do. Follow the Lord and let Him lead you in your moment. The time is now.